Have you ever noticed that the older brother in the prodigal son looks a lot like Cain? This is exactly why we take a second pass through Scripture. The Bible isn't just a collection of stories, it's one unified story, constantly echoing itself. When you take a second pass, you begin to notice connections that the first audience would have recognized immediately. Take Cain and the prodigal son. In Genesis 4, there are two brothers. One is accepted, and the other becomes angry. God comes to Cain and asks, "Why are you angry?" He warns him that sin is crouching at the door, but Cain refuses to master it. Instead of celebrating his brother's acceptance, jealousy consumes him, separating him from both his brother and God. Now take a second pass through Luke 15. Again, there are two brothers. The younger son, who deserves rejection, is welcomed home with a feast. The older brother becomes angry, but Jesus includes a detail that seems almost unnecessary. Now his older son was in the field. Why mention the field? Because that's where the first older brother was. Genesis 4 tells us that Cain called Abel into the field, where his jealousy finally gave birth to murder. Now Jesus introduces another older brother in the field. His audience would have immediately recognized the echo. Jesus is inviting them to compare these two stories. Both older brothers become angry when grace is shown to someone else. Both believe acceptance is something to be earned or competed for. Both are confronted before their anger reaches its conclusion. And just as God came out to Cain with a question, the father leaves the celebration and comes out to plead with his older son. But Jesus never tells us what the older brother does. Will he stay outside? Or will he come into the feast? Jesus leaves the ending unwritten, because the Pharisees he is speaking to are the older brother, and every listener must decide whether they will rejoice when God welcomes the undeserving. Sometimes the greatest danger isn't becoming the prodigal. It's becoming Cain and never realizing you were standing outside the Father's house the whole time.